And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at an expansion for Architects of the West Kingdom. This game from Shem Phillips and Garfield Games, fantastic game for sure, a worker placement game. This is the first expansion, Age of Artisans. This is a pretty easy expansion to incorporate into the base game, and when you watch this, I'm going to assume you already know how to play the base game. Let's see what we get. All right, let's take a look at what this expansion adds. It adds a new color, orange. It also adds 2 new player boards that you can play with orange. You know, you can play on the basic level, or you can play where they start with stuff, and you can see that this person start with both some very high virtue, some very high ethics that they have here, and then this person has a special ability relating to one of the new things that's in the game. We'll talk about this. Well, they both do actually, so we'll talk about that in a second. On the board itself, the Guild Hall has a new board placed over it because you're going to be able to do something different here, and the Black Market has something new put on it that's going to be added. There's more cards added to both the different people that you can get in the deck, and there's some various things of people. Some of these could be easily mixed in the game and you wouldn't notice from the original because most of them don't have anything to do with the new stuff. And then you also have a few new buildings that could be thrown in. A few of these, like the Garrison, are referring to the new tools and things that are in this game, but many of them, again, like I said, could just be thrown in and you don't even have to explain what they mean. Each player gets this, which is a nice thing because here you can put all your resources that are 5, explains the endgame scoring for tools, and then also how your new person works. What is this we're talking about, a new person? That's right, there are now artisans in the game. Oh yeah, that's the name of the expansion. Hey, anyhow, these are bigger than your ordinary workers. For comparison, and they now count as 2 people when you first place them down. So when I place them down on the board, it's worth 2 people. You put someone there, and this will give me 3 coins, 1 plus 1 per person, so 3. Now, other than that, they're basically like a regular worker. They can't go to jail. They can't go to the guild house. You can't fit them in the spots there. Oh, and they also help you avoid a virtue loss. So if I go here to tax stand, I only pay 1 virtue instead of 2. Or for the black market, they're really good at going to the black market. And if you get a card that makes you lose a virtue, you don't have to with these guys. And in fact, one of the Malaric here, his guy counts as 3 when you place him out. Now once they're on the board and you add someone else there, they're no longer 3 or 2. They're just 1. So if I put him out here, now there's just 2 people there. So that's a big change. It kind of cranks up the beginning of the game a little bit. And anytime that you are using these, it will show the black. That means the artisan. So when I play an artisan, he counts as an extra person and he avoids 1 virtue, as that shows you. Now, the Guild Hall, as I mentioned, when you go here, there's a small minor change in that when you go on these spots, you'll discard the first 2 people and slide everything over. But you can also build craft cards. So craft cards have 2 parts to them. When you build a craft card, though, instead of putting a new person out, you'll put them on top of somebody that you already have there, so it doesn't speed the game up by building these. There's going to be 4 of them placed face up next to the board here. And when you build one, if you just put a person on top, you're building a tool. And if you put a person on top and spend 5 money, you are building an adornment. Now an adornment goes on a building. So you'll pick one of the face-up ones, you'll put it on the building, it will give you an immediate benefit. Here you get 2 marble, and it will also give you extra points. So you can see some of them can give up to 4 extra points. So this building, this meeting room, would now be worth 9 and also gives me 3 stone. Or here I get to draw 2 green cards, and this is worth 11 at the end of the game. Now the tools are cooler, but not worth necessarily as many points. Those are added to people. So you essentially stick them underneath a person. So here, for example, when he goes to the king's storehouse, he can trade 2 wood for a gold, and he gets a brick. That's pretty neat. And he can lose a virtue to get a marble, and etc., etc. These basically just add to the power. So you can make all sorts of combos with these people. Now, tools have a question mark because the number of tools you have at the end of the game is going to give you points based on this chart here. 1, 2, 4, 6, or 9. And that's pretty much it. So you have these new things. We have this new person here. When she plays a tool, she gets the benefit of the top, which is a pretty strong, awesome benefit. And it's pretty easy to implement this in the original game. You're just adding the new stuff to the stacks. You got the orange color, you add the Artisans, and then you stick the extra deck of craft cards near the board and put 4 of them face up. Like I said, the Guildhall board itself here shows you the changes. The black market also down here, you can get yourself a tool when going there. So that's the changes that this expansion adds. Well, there you have it, folks. Age of Artisans, Architects of the West Kingdom. It's an easy expansion add. Now, this is what I call a mild expansion. I don't know how else to... It's kind of basically, it adds some cool new stuff, but I wouldn't say rush out and buy it. But at the same time, if you love Architects of the West Kingdom, why not? Now, unfortunately, because it's already a pain to shove everything in this box, you'll have to keep them in separate boxes, which is unfortunate. And I also realize how much this game gets played by seeing the very differences on the new people cards and stuff thrown in. Now, it adds an extra player color, which means you can have another player. Pass. I don't necessarily want to play Architects with more people, but I don't mind extra player color and the extra special abilities. That's cool. I really like the Artisan. I think that's my favorite part, just having that extra worker that counts as 2 when you first put it out. It gives you a quick jump in the game. It also makes it fun because you will then sometimes arrest or not arrest people depending on where the Artisan is. I also like the new crafting cards, the upgrading your people. This makes people much more interesting to get. You get someone who gives you a special ability, and now they're cooler, and they do extra things. That's just a neat concept. You feel like you're customizing your own person. And then the adornments to the buildings, that's not bad because that's extra points. So both these things are really good, and they add to the game. I don't think they're necessary, but it's an interesting addition to the game, and the game plays the exact same way. In fact, I taught people the game and the expansion at the same time who had never played the game before, and it worked fine. So with that being said, a solid, good expansion. Doesn't add too much, doesn't change the game overall for the most part. Adds a few minor things that are pretty simple to throw in. Adds the extra player, which I don't care about, but I do like the extra player boards. It is weird, and maybe there's extra player boards out there that I don't know about, that this came with 2 for orange. I only have 1 for each of the other colors. Maybe there's other boards out there for the other colors I don't know about, but I like the extra special abilities. I always use the upgraded sides of the board. That being said, a cool little expansion. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment approved.